Hello everyone. I will be doing a few sample problems from the Chapter 5 review worksheet. Okay, so let's start with number 1. Number 1, the question is asking, what is the equation of the function y equals x squared translated 3 units up and 4 units to the left? And we're given a, b, c, and d, and notice that they're all in vertex form. So first things first, let's review what the vertex form looks like. Vertex form. So we know the vertex form looks like, the generic equation looks like y a times x minus h squared plus k. And why is it called the vertex form again? Because from this equation, you could tell what the vertex of the parabola is. So just a review. So we have a vertex, and the vertex has an x and y coordinate. It has an xy value to it. And how can you tell from this generic equation? Remember, it's just the h and the k value. H and k value. So if you have a vertex, for example, let's say that vertex is right here, 3, 3. 3, negative 3. So the vertex has a coordinate of 3, negative 3. Then we know that it's also equal to h and k value for the vertex form. So our equation will look something like, we don't know what the a value is, but we know it's going to be x minus 3 squared, and then the k value is negative 3. So this is my h value, and this is my k value. So this is just all review. So let's look at this. So we have a regular y equals x squared, just a generic parabola. And we want to translate that 3 units up and 4 units to the left. So let's graph it to see what it looks like. So we have a regular parabola, and we want to go 3 units up and 4 units to the left. So the vertex of the parabola is going to be right here. And that point is negative 4, 3. So if we were to write this in vertex form, how would we do it? Well, we could write y is equal to, we know the a value is 1, x minus a minus 4 squared plus 3, because this is my h and this is my k. We said before the vertex of the x and y coordinate is equal to the h and k value. So what would this be? This will simply be x plus 4 squared plus 3. Because remember, the original equation has a negative sign already. Remember, the generic equation is y is equal to x minus h squared plus k. So it's already a negative sign. So the h value will be negative 4. Therefore, it's x minus a minus 4. So our answer will be x plus 4 squared plus 3. And if we look at that, that is C. So number 2, find the minimum value of the function y is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 3. Okay, let's start with that. So we have the function y equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. And we want to find the minimum value. Okay, so let's start with that. What is usually the minimum value for the parabola? It's always the vertex if the parabola points up. The minimum value is always the vertex. And we know the parabola points up because There's no negative sign in front of the x squared. So we know this is a parabola that points up rather than a parabola that points down. In this case, there is no minimum value because these two arrows tells you it goes down infinitely. So in that case, the vertex will be the maximum value. So here we know the parabola will be curved up. Okay? You can think of it as being a smiley face. So now the question is, we know the vertex is the minimum value. So what is the vertex then? Let's figure that out. So given this equation, given this function, so how do we figure out the vertex for this? Well, we could use what we did in class before, where the x value of the vertex, we know the x value of vertex, so I'm just going to put vertex. The x value of the vertex, we know that can be found out with negative b over 2a. And remember, this is my a, b, and c value. So the x coordinate of the vertex can be found by negative b over 2a. And what would that be? What is negative b over 2a? Negative b, so we have a negative of negative 2 over 2 times a, in this case 1. So negative b is already negative 2. So the negative of a negative 2 over 2 times 1. And what would that be? That would be 2 on top over 2 on bottom, which is equal to 1. So whatever this parabola, what the parabola looks like, we know that the vertex, so my right vertex, has the x value being 1. Now our job is to find the y value. How do we do that? We plug 1 into the original equation and see what the y value is. So let's do that. 1. So I'll put it down right here. Y is equal to 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 3. I just simply plug x in. I simply plug 1 in for x. And what is that equal to? 1 squared is 1 minus 2 minus 3. 1 minus 2, negative 1. Negative 1 minus 3, negative 4. So the vertex we found from this function to be 1, negative 4. Okay, so let's take a look. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. We know the vertex can be right here. So what is the minimum value here? What is the minimum value? We don't know what the function looks like, so I'm just going to draw just some kind of generic one. There. What would this value be? What is the minimum value? It would be negative 4, because that's the lowest it goes, is negative 4 for the y value. So let's look at this. What is the minimum value of the function y equals x squared minus 2x minus 3? It would be negative 4. So now, let's look at number 3. Which of the following ordered pairs is a solution to the system of equations given by x plus y equals 5 and 3x minus 2y equals 0? So our job is to find a pair of solutions that when you plug into each of these equations, it comes out true. So one of these pairs, if you plug it in for x and plug it in for y, it equals 5. And those same pairs, if you plug in x here and y here, they both come out, this comes out to be 0. You could plug each individual coordinate into here and see which one works. That is a possibility for a multiple choice exam. But let's say it's not multiple choice. How would you figure out for sure? So let's take a look. So we have x plus y equals 5. And what is my other equation? 3x minus 2y equals 0. 3x minus 2y equals 0. This looks like one of those two system of linear equations, and we have to eliminate the variable type of problem. So that'll tell us what the x and what the y values are. And so let's take a look. To figure this out, we have to eliminate a variable. Which one looks easy to eliminate? I think the y looks a lot easier. So let's eliminate the y for this one, okay? How do we eliminate the y? Well, we can't just add it yet because the y's will not eliminate. So what we can do is we can multiply the top by 2. And if we do that, I'm going to write it on the side. It becomes 2x plus 2y equals 10. In the bottom, I'm going to rewrite as is. 3x minus 2y equals 0. So now, if we add, we can eliminate the 2y and the negative 2y. So we add, we get 5x equals 10. Let's get x by itself, divide by 5, x equals 2. So we got the x value, 2. What would the y value be? Well, we can get that by simply plugging in x to any one of the equations here and solve for y. So let's plug into the first one. X plus y equals 5. If we plug in 2 for x plus y equals 5, let's get rid of the 2's. We get y is equal to 3. So our order pairs here, the solution that makes both of these equations true is 2, 3, where the 2 is the x value and 3 is the y value. So let's look at our solution for 3. We need the answer to be 2, 3, and that is B. And now, question 4. What is the 0 of the function f of x equals 3 times, or the parentheses, x minus 2 squared? Let's take a look. What is the 0 of this function? What does that mean? Well, so let's write that out. F of x equals 3 x minus 2 squared. Now, remember we talked in class. The 0 of the function basically means 2 ways to interpret it. There's 2 ways. If you plug in the f of x value or the y value, if you plug in 0, what will x be? So if you plug in 0 into here, what will x be? And remember, the geometric interpretation is, where does a point cross the x-axis? Where does it cross the x-axis at? Okay, so where does it cross the x-axis at? Or another way to look at it is, if you plug in 0 for y, what will x be? Because if you look at it, they're the same idea, which we talked about in class. Every point here has an x and y value. X and y value. Where across the x-axis, we know the y value has to be 0. Because that's where the y has to be 0 to figure out what the x value is. Which, if you notice, these two are the same ideas. So let's solve it this way because it's a lot easier. Okay? So let's do that. So we want to know, basically, if we plug in 0 for y, or the function f of x, what would the x value be? What would x have to be for this to be 0? So let's take a look. Let's plug in 0. 0 equals 3 x minus 2 squared. And our job is to solve for x. So how do we do that? How will we solve for that? Well, let's get rid of 3. Let's just get this by itself. So we get 0 is equal to x minus 2 squared. And then I want to get rid of this square. How do we do that? Well, let's square root both sides. And if we square root both sides, we get 0 still. is equal to x minus 2. And then what you can do is you can plus 2 on both sides. And we get x is equal to 2. Which makes sense because if you look at the original equation, if you plug in 2 here, 2 minus 2 is 0. Anything times 0, anything squared by 0 would still be 0, which makes sense. So we have our answer, x is equal to 2. Now, geometrically, what does it look like? It looks like at x equals 2, we have a parabola that just touches the x at 2. That's what it's saying. It just barely touches it. Touch the x-axis at 2. So let's take a look at our multiple choice. So what is the 0 of f of x equals 3 times x minus 2 squared? We said it was 2, so the answer would be C. Okay?